Hello, and welcome to the third newsletter from the desk of the Foggy author. If we haven't met before, my name is Brett Jackson, and I am the Foggy author. I write books through the veil of brain fog. This week, I've decided we need a name, something that feels like us. Not polished, not perfect, just real, curious, and maybe a little forgetful. So from now on, you're a Foggy. And that means you're a part of the Foggy fam. If you've ever had brain fog, time confusion, or just one of those days where nothing quite makes sense, you're in the right place. The Foggy fam is a place where we embrace the blur, chase down lost thoughts, and somehow still manage to create something amazing. And now, let's get into this week's newsletter. Hello Foggies! In this week's My Writing Life, I did a live writing sprint, got back into editing Time Clone's Book 2, and made a decision about my video scheduling on YouTube. This week, I decided to do my first live. I set up my computer, added a camera or two, and wound up my pig timer for 25 minutes, then edited a chapter live on YouTube. No one joined me this time, but I shall be doing them again in future, and I hope to be able to chat to some of you while editing, so feel free to join me whenever you see me live online. I'd love to see you there. Regarding my editing update last week, I mentioned that life had got in the way, and that I hadn't really had the chance to edit my work in progress. So this week, I made it my mission to make sure I got back into the editing groove. And that's exactly what happened. I've managed to edit more chapters from Time Clones this week in the YouTube Live, in Author Discord sprint sessions, and on my own. I've also changed the progress bar on the website. Gone is the one bar that gives a vague idea of how far I am through the book, and now I have a slick new set of progress bars that show precise progress, as long as I remember to update them. In a recent video, I outlined an ambitious video posting schedule. I expected to be able to post the full newsletter on Mondays, daily recap reels Tuesday through Friday, and a book chapter on Saturdays. But as the Foggy author, I've realised that less truly is more. It's one of the reasons why the new website has less pages than the old website. And less is more is really helpful, especially when you live with a brain that prefers clarity over chaos. Instead of trying to keep up with daily content, I'm focusing on what matters most: thoughtful storytelling and quality connection. So, here's the new rhythm: one long-form newsletter on Mondays, and one chapter from my books every Saturday. That's it. Simple, sustainable, and totally aligned with how my foggy brain works best. As a part of this, and to help us all, I have simplified the playlists too. So, instead of the newsletter, chapter per week, and 4 more playlists, I shall be reducing it so that the recap list no longer clutters your YouTube feed, making it easier to find high-value content and not having to wade through repetitive chunks of video. I'm sure you'll agree that this will be far better for our foggy brains. I've also added a video wall to the website so you can see them there as well as here on YouTube. In this week's Ask the Author, there are no questions. However, if you'd like to ask a question about my life as an author, or anything about time travel or my books, please feel free to get in touch by leaving a comment underneath this video. Book of the Week. Introducing Amber Gabriel. Ever since she was a little girl, she loved to read. One of the first books she remembers reading was a Wonder Book version of Cinderella. It was in the reading station in her kindergarten class, and she loved the illustrations. She'd pick that book out every time, so her teacher finally removed it from the shelf to force Amber to expand her horizons. Now she owns her own copy. In middle school, she enjoyed writing, and her English teacher told her she would write a book someday. She loved to read, sometimes reading late into the night. When she was not reading, she was making up stories in her own head for her own amusement, but never wrote anything down. She was more interested in painting and drawing than writing. She has painted numerous works of art, including some very large outdoor murals. You can see some of them if you do an internet search of Paint by Amber. Over the years, Amber has had a lot of trouble with insomnia. She was told if she wrote down her ideas, it would help her to be able to go to sleep. It didn't help, but she did end up writing some complete novels. Recently, she was diagnosed with narcolepsy, and understanding her sleep patterns, along with scheduling at least one nap during the day, has greatly improved the quality of life. Her goal as an author is to write the type of books that she herself would like to read. Her favourite genre is fantasy fiction. Written by Amber Gabriel, The Lost Bride of Verda, a novella in the Edge of the Sword series. Cast from the waves into each other's hearts. When a ship wrecks upon his kingdom's shore, Prince Carlin throws himself into the surf to save a survivor, a strange foreign princess who refuses to speak. Carlin dutifully takes her under his care and begins to unravel the complexities of her unfamiliar culture. With his mind troubled by the threat of war, Carlin soon finds his heart besieged as well. The princess carries a secret that could start a war. On her way to marry a foreign prince, she instead finds herself stranded, alone in a rival kingdom. Rescued from the waves by the kind, keen-eyed Prince Carlin, the princess must preserve her dignity and guard her true purpose. However, when rumours of her intended husband's cruelty circle the court, she begins to doubt her people are allying with the right kingdom. As affection grows between the two of them, the weight of her hidden mission weighs heavily upon her. Will the princess choose to trust the man who saved her, or will her duty tie her to one whispered to be a monster? I've added all the links to her website, social, and books in the description below. And now it's time for the featured article. No social media 8 months later. Back in October 2024, I made a decision that changed everything. I quit social media. At the time, I was juggling all the platforms: Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Threads, Blue Sky, Pinterest, YouTube, Reddit, Discord, WhatsApp, Messenger, and I even had a podcast I was trying to get back running. On top of that, I was also subscribed to over 50 author newsletters, listened to countless podcasts, and I tried to be present in every author group I could find. I thought I was building momentum, but in reality, I was burning out. Other authors kept telling me, just keep writing, but I wasn't. I just didn't have the time. I was stuck in the hamster wheel of engagements, likes, shares and memes. My phone was constantly in my hand. My charger went everywhere with me. I was sleeping poorly, eating worse, and struggling to have real conversations, even with myself. Then something happened. My mum passed away. I stepped away from social media for almost a month to help with family matters, and when I returned, nothing had changed. A couple of people noticed I was gone, most didn't. My follower counts hadn't dropped, but they hadn't grown either. The whole thing felt hollow. So I gave myself a week to grieve properly, and in that quiet I noticed something important. I didn't miss social media. When I dipped back in, the joy was gone, the dopamine hit was dull, the pressure was back, I was tired, numb, and out of sync with myself. So I did what I've done before with harder habits like smoking and drinking caffeine. I quit. For good. It took nearly 2 days to delete everything. I don't make it easy. Funny that. Some accounts refused to close right away, dangling the chance to reactivate, but I pushed through. I'd already deleted the apps, but I was still trying to log in through my browser. So by mid-November, my brain and muscle memory stopped automatically opening my browser. Sure, my YouTube viewing crept up a little, but it was manageable. I watched videos about quitting dopamine loops, building better habits, and rediscovered my love for pen and paper through bullet journaling. That change alone rewired my brain, and I started noticing things. I had ideas again. I wasn't exhausted. My battery actually lasted a full day. In fact, sometimes it would last more. I reconnected with my writing and my reading. I no longer missed people who weren't missing me. The ones who matter are still in touch through email, phone, or this newsletter. I even rebranded my entire platform as the Foggy Author, and for the first time everything feels like it fits. My website, YouTube, books, and life are finally pointing in the same direction. Now I'm writing more, I'm making videos, and I've started writing Time Clones as a weekly audio book series on YouTube. I have time to dream again, to be the writer I was meant to be. So, honestly, how do I feel 8 months on? Brilliant! I'm clearer, more relaxed, more creative, my anxiety is down, my focus is back, and best of all, I don't miss social media at all. To any author out there feeling the same tug of war between creating and performing, my advice to you is take a step back. Ask yourself what's actually working and what's just noise. You might be surprised how much clarity is waiting for you on the other side. And that's all for this week's newsletter. Stay curious, stay kind, and stay a little foggy. And I'll see you again in the future.